Welcome back to the Techie Blossom channel. I am Pratik Sharma. How would you feel if I say that if you don't use the widget that we will see today, you cannot use any of the previous widgets? It's possible, but in an impractical way. So make sure to watch this video till the very end and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. The widget is Block Provider, which is the most important and most used widget. Its another form is Multi-Block Provider. Yes, you heard it right. It's a provider. The Flutter block library uses provider as a dependency to locate instances, and hence this justifies the name. This widget, as the name suggests, provides block to its children. If you remember from my block builder and block listener videos, I said that if you don't provide block attributes to block builder and block listener, then it would do a lookup for the block in the ancestors. So if you want these widgets to do a lookup and find a non-null instance, you need to provide it via block provider. And that's why you will often find block builder or block listener or block consumer wrapped by block provider in the tree. You can potentially use block provider in two ways, by using create or by using value. By using create, you are required to instantiate it in the create function. This way, you are telling block provider to create the block for you lazily when the block instance is first used. And block provider will also close the block whenever required. You need not do it by yourself. So that now you can use stateless widget itself. You can set the lazily flag as false if needed, but by default, lazily is true. On the other hand, when you are using blockProvider.value constructor to provide the value, it is understood that you have already created the instance and you will close it by yourself. When you need to provide the value to block provider, you will have it either define it in the stateful widget or fetch it from ancestors using blockProvider.off likes block and with the help of context. Block provider knows which type of block to search in the tree above by the block type that you define in the angular brackets. If you find using blockProvider.off context too verbose, then you can use an extension function context.read and provide likes block in the angular bracket. Now let's see multi-block provider. Do you remember multi-block listener? Where if there was a case when you were nesting block listeners, you could use multi-block listener and provide multiple block listeners in it. Similarly, in your app, you will often find these scenarios. For example, in the movie app as well, we had 4 blocks that we provided for the home screen scaffold. So we used multi-block provider and passed all 4 providers. Each of these providers is a block provider in itself, where you can use either create or value way to provide block. If you don't use block provider at the right location, you will often get provider not found exception. And you would think why you get this exception even when you are not using the provider package. I believe that now you know the main reason. We are left with 2 more widgets in Flutter block package: repository provider and multi-repository provider. I am not creating another video for them because I think there is very less to talk about, and because most of the time to have proper separation of concerns, we don't use repositories directly in the UI. Instead, we use block or any other state management library. So in my opinion, this is not used much, but it is good to know. The repository provider widget is the same as block provider, with the only difference being that you have to provide repositories here, either by using create or value. You might also think that you can provide any other class here. It's up to you. So this is it for this video and this series. To rewind up the full series, we first understood the base concept of stream and sync. Then we saw how the block package uses this concept, and we saw examples of qubit and block. Then we saw block builder, block listener and block consumer widgets from the Flutter block library that rebuilds the widget or listens for changes when the block state changes. We also saw block selector, which converts the block state to a specific field in the state and rebuilds the widget only when the selected field from state changes. It's an optimized way for some scenarios. And finally, we covered the provider concept in the block library with block provider, multi-block provider, repository provider and multi-repository provider. I truly believe that you liked the complete series and are now ready to take up the advanced series. So make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, share it in various Flutter forums. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Signing off.